Hi everyone and welcome to my Zed guide. I would like to start off by saying thank you to everyone that subscribed to my channel. I really enjoy making these videos for you guys because I get a ton of positive feedback. I do this for you guys and it's awesome to see that you all like my content. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you like the video if you haven't subscribed already, and like Zed himself always says,
the unseen blade is the deadliest.
I decided to make this video after patch 3.13 because Zed's ultimate ability Deathmark got changed a little bit. This change affects Zed's burst a lot, but it gives him an easier way of escaping after going all in on an enemy champion because the shadow is now placed at the cast location instead of behind the target. Zed is a very special champion in many different ways. First of all, he's energy based. This means that his abilities use energy instead of mana. This is a very big advantage that he has over other mid laners because energy regenerates at a rate of 10 energy per second. Energy bars also have a maximum of 200 energy with no growth per level. In other words, a fully depleted energy bar is fully regenerated after 20 seconds without increased energy regeneration runes. Another thing that makes Zed special is his ability to burst down enemy champions and get away with it. Mastering the use of his shadows is a must if you want to do this efficiently. He also has no abilities that scale with ability power, so building attack damage and armor penetration greatly increase your burst and assassination potential. Now we're going a bit more in depth with Zed's abilities. Let's start with his passive Contempt for the Weak. This passive gives Zed's auto attacks increased magic damage based on the maximum health of the target when the target is below 50% health. This damage increases at level 7 and 17 to a maximum of 10% of the target's maximum health. This effect can only occur once every 10 seconds on the same target. His first basic ability is Razor Shuriken. This ability is a skill shot that lets Zed throw his shuriken in a line. This ability deals physical damage and scales with bonus attack damage. This means that this ability scales with attack damage from items, runes and masteries and not from the base damage of the champion itself. The shuriken does full damage to the first enemy it passes through and less damage to the enemies thereafter. Additional shurikens striking the same target will deal 50% damage. His second basic ability is called Living Shadow. This skill passively increases Zed's bonus attack damage based on the ability's level. When activated, Zed's shadow will dash forward, remaining in place for 4 seconds. Reactivating this ability will cause Zed to switch positions with his shadow. Zed's shadow will also mimic his Q and E ability when used. If both strike the same target, Zed regains energy based on the ability's level. This ability can be used to increase Zed's burst damage, but it can also be used to get out of sticky situations or to escape a gank early in the game. His third basic ability is called Shadow Slash. This ability deals damage to enemies around Zed and his shadow, if there are any shadows present on the map. This ability deals physical damage and also scales with bonus attack damage. Zed's Shadow Slash also reduces the cooldown of Living Shadow by 1 second for each enemy champion struck. Enemies hit by the Shadow Slash of Zed's shadow will also be slowed for 1.5 seconds. This slow will increase based on the ability's level. Overlapping Shadow Slashes striking the same enemy deal no additional damage but will increase the slowing effect. His ultimate ability is called Deathmark. This ability makes Zed untargetable while he dashes to his target, leaving a mark on it. He then spawns a shadow that also mimics his abilities at the cast location that lasts for 6 seconds. After 3 seconds, the mark will trigger, dealing physical damage plus a percentage of the damage the target took by Zed and his shadows while the mark was active. The recent changes to this ability reduce the burst that he had with this ability because there is now 1 shadow less to damage the target, but it gives Zed a good way of disengaging after damaging the target. The runes I used when playing Zed are based around bursting my targets down as fast as possible, while also surviving the damage I get while I'm dealing damage to my opponents. I used 9 armor penetration marks, 9 armor seals, 9 magic resist glyphs and 3 attack damage quints. This will give you 12 armor penetration, 13 armor, 12 magic resist and 6.8 bonus attack damage. The armor penetration and bonus attack damage is purely to increase my damage, while the armor and magic resist give me defense in lane and in teamfights. The reason why I choose for armor seals and not health seals is because even AP mid laners do physical damage with their auto attacks. The masteries I use are 2190 masteries. I choose for attack speed, cooldown reduction, bonus attack damage, increased damage overall, and increased damage to targets below 50% health in offense. I choose for health per level, armor, magic resist and flat HP in defense to give me the defensive stats I need in lane and in teamfight. Be sure to switch points in the increased armor and magic resist according to your laning opponent. For example, you should take 1 point in armor and 3 points in magic resist when you are playing against an AP mage in the mid lane. If you are playing blind pick, I recommend you place 2 points in each because you don't know who you are going to face in lane. I don't take anything in the utility tree because I think it doesn't really have anything useful in it for Zed. The items you should buy on Zed are going to adapt to your playstyle, but I'll go over every item that I think is a good choice to buy on Zed. The starting items will change depending on your laning opponent. You can choose between 4 item choices. First, we've got a Dorn Shield and Health Potion start. This will give you a flat amount of health regeneration, and it blocks 8 damage from champion auto attacks. Plus, you also have a health potion. This is a good choice when you are facing an attack damage ranged champion or champions with long range auto attacks. The second choice is starting with a rejuvenation bead, 4 health potions and 2 wards. This is a very safe start because it gives you 5 health regeneration per 5 seconds, 4 health potions and 2 wards to watch for ganks. You can also buy 2 rejuvenation beads to increase the health regeneration, but you'll have 1 health potion less and you won't be able to buy any wards. This is a good choice when you are facing champions with undodgeable poke. The third choice is starting with a cloth armor and 5 health potions. This is the best starting option when you are facing an AD caster or a melee assassin in lane. This will give you 15 armor and 5 health potions. The last option you can choose from is starting with boots of speed and 4 health potions. This option is for when you are facing an enemy that uses a lot of skill shots that can be dodged. The 25 extra movement speed will help you dodge the skill shots, and the health potion will regenerate your health bar when you aren't able to dodge some of the skill shots. You can also start out with a longsword and health potions or a Doran's blade, but I don't really recommend doing that because you'll have a hard time in lane if you aren't able to take an early advantage. Zed's core items depend a lot on your playstyle and your starting items. The main core items on Zed are Tiamat, Brutalizer and Bilgewater Cutlass. These are items that I find to be the most effective on Zed. If you want to push hard and farm a lot, then you probably want to get the Tiamat as a first item. If the enemies are building early armor, then you should go for the Brutalizer as your first item. And if you are more into killing enemy champions, then you should probably go for the Bilgewater Cutlass. Here are some of the final builds. A build against armor heavy teams, a glass cannon build, and an all-around Zed build. In the heavy armor teams build, I focus on ignoring as much armor as possible to increase my burst damage to my targets. You can use this build if you have a lot of attack damage champions in your team, or if the enemy team has a tank like Rammus or Malphite. In the glass cannon Zed build, I focus on getting as much attack damage as possible to burst targets down as fast as possible. This build is good if you got an early lead in lane, or if your team can protect you when you go in for the enemy carry. This build also has the most snowball potential because you purely build damage. The last build is the all-around Zed build. This build doesn't really focus on one specific thing, but it gives you everything you need to survive on your own. The damage items in this build depend on what items you chose as your core items, and the defensive items are usually built at the end because you don't want to delay your damage spike as a mid lane. You don't have to follow these builds if you don't like them, but these are the builds that I find to work the best in the situations that I mentioned. This brings us to the last part of the video, and these are the tips and tricks that you can use while playing Zed. First of all, you should always try to poke your laning opponent with your shurikens, because you're energy based. This is a major advantage over other mid laners because energy has an insane regeneration speed of 10 energy every second. Also try to use your shadow to poke your enemy by sending your shadow next to the enemy, hitting it with shadow slash so he's slowed, and then you can easily hit your razor shurikens. You can also swap places with the shadow afterwards to dish out some auto attacks if you are really comfortable in lane. Doing this is rather dangerous when you are pushing the lane because you are using your escape ability to harass your laning opponent. This leaves you vulnerable for ganks. Another thing that you can do to acquire lane dominance is by using your Deathmark ability when you just reached level 6 and your opponent hasn't. This ability only has 120 seconds cooldown at rank 1 and you can easily escape back because of the fact that your shadow now spawns at the cast location. In other words, you can go all in at level 6 and still get away easily. Your living shadow is also amazing at gap closing when you're chasing an enemy champion that is low on HP, but try to do this only if you know that you don't need an extra shadow to kill him. Otherwise you just wasted your escape and ultimate ability. Your shadow is also great against champions like Blitzcrank. Don't worry if you don't swap places with your shadow fast enough, because you can't reactivate it after being grabbed and still get away safely. This is it guys, I know this video is longer than usual, but I just wanted to tell you guys everything about the champion. I hope I didn't forget anything because it's a lot of information and I also hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment in the comment box below. And don't forget that while playing Zed,
no technique is forbidden.
and I'll see you guys later.